Joyce Woodworth. Welcome to the Spirit of Winona. Everyone has their own set of values. Our personal values are shaped from the moment we're born. One of the first values we learn, for instance, is love. We learn love from the touch and affection of our parents. From their examples and from the examples of others, we learn compassion, gratitude, honesty, reliability, enthusiasm. The list goes on and on. These values shape our character and make us who we are. Sir John Templeton, in his book, Discovering the Laws of Life, talks about these values, which he calls the laws of life. In it, he includes inspirational essays from the greatest writers in the world. The aspect of teaching the laws of life became so important to Sir John Templeton that he began a Laws of Life essay contest which challenges high school age students to discover for themselves the values that will guide them throughout life. This contest began in Winona 7 years ago. Today we're going to find out how the contest came to Winona, how the community is involved, what it means to our high school students, and finally, we'll end at the Laws of Life banquet and hear the winning essays. I'd like to introduce at this time Neil Sawyer, who is the chairman of the Laws of Life contest here in Winona. Hi, Neil.
Hi, Joyce.
Neil, tell me first off, what is your involvement with the Laws of Life contest?
Personally, it's a way for me to pay back to the community because Winona's been good to me, but it also makes me feel good to help some high school kids to get started in the right way and to offering something so they can make some money. And each year, we go around to businessmen in Winona and ask them to make donations of money to us so we can put on this contest. And then we use the money to give cash prizes to students who write the best essays. And then at the end of the contest, we have an awards banquet where we invite the parents of the winners and the winners. And about 150 people come to the banquet, and that costs us some money. So altogether, it costs us about $6,000 a year.
Well, how many winners are there?
There are about 35 winners altogether. The first prize is $1,000 and a $3,000 scholarship to St. Mary's University. And that's a continuing scholarship.
Great prize, great incentive.
Then the other prizes step down, $400, $200, $100. We give a lot of $50 United States savings bonds.
Tell me a little bit about the judging process. Who reads all the essays?
Okay. First off, we use college kids to just screen because we got almost 450 essays. They read the essays. They reject. We tell them to put them in 3 different piles: good essays, bad essays, and maybe essays. So then the no good essays are thrown away. These 2 batches of essays go to the next level of judges. And then these judges read the essays and they do the same thing. The top 2 bunches go to the 3rd level of judges. And that 3rd level of judges are usually they're volunteer retired English teachers.
Back in 1994, Bill Schuler of Winona was on a plane traveling to China when by chance he sat next to Sir John Templeton. The 2 of them became friends, and in that long plane ride, Bill found out about Sir John and his interest in the laws of life.
Sir John Templeton was born in Tennessee, near Chattanooga, Tennessee. And he enjoyed going to grade school there, but he went to Oxford for his graduate school work and came back to Yale for graduate school work. This was something that was very difficult for him to do from a financial standpoint. He'd always enjoyed gambling. He spent his time in school along with studying gambling. So he put himself through Oxford and through Yale by gambling on the side and earning enough money that way. And I think this might have suggested to him that he would do well in as a stockbroker. In Manalapan, Florida, one of his first customers back in 1954 that was so impressed with John's ability at gambling and in poker that he decided he would invest with him. And I think he put in $100,000, which was absolutely mind-blowing at the time that he would trust this new young stockbroker with that much money. That money is now worth $35 million.
Tell me what the connection is between Sir John Templeton and the Laws of Life essay contest.
John Templeton is a very, very thoughtful man. And he began to wonder what life was really about. And in the process of that, somebody asked him what he really thought the meaning of life was. And he said, well, I really don't know. But you know, I think that the Earth is a teaching program for the soul. So he was an interesting man. He thought about that kind of thing. He started then with the idea that he wanted to dedicate his life and the money that he had earned to making a better world, really. And he spent his time thinking of programs that would make it a better world. He now has over 100. He started the Love Life School thing in Tennessee, back in his hometown. And at this point, there are several hundred schools that are promoting the program. 88,000 essays were written last year, and the essays were about suggesting, or it was suggested to the students that they should, in fact, think about what their lives should be like, what they should stand for, not only now, but what they should stand for later in life. And this brought out some wonderfully interesting, serious, penetrating thoughts on the part of the students.
Bill, how did you get the Laws of Life essay contest into Winona?
I talked to the various schools in Winona, and it includes Winona Senior High School and Cotter, and found that the English teachers and the professors were really excited about the idea of the contest. They could see the value of having students at this age sit down and really give some serious thinking to what was going on. St. Mary's University came along with a tremendous amount of help. In fact, they're giving $24,000 worth of scholarships every year. We also had strong help from the Merchants National Bank, and a great deal of help from Mrs. Harold Edstrom and people that donated money to put the contest on.
What do you think the primary value of the program is to the young people in Winona?
There is no way of putting a dollar value on it. It builds character, and it builds thoughtful character, the kind of thing that the students are going to be able to carry with them all their lives.
Over the past 7 years, at least 1,500 Winona Senior High School students have participated in the Laws of Life essay contest. The teachers there have encouraged their students to write an essay from the heart. Their intention is to spark the thought process of the student as to what good character is all about. For instance, to look at someone else and describe what they admire about that person, to express what that admirable characteristic is on paper, and then aspire to develop that characteristic in oneself. I visited with Shar Jawer, one of 8 Winona Senior High School's English teachers, and she talks about her students' experiences with the Laws of Life essay contest.
The last 7 years now, your students have been participants in this program. Tell me maybe some of the essays that stick out in your mind that were real special. Tell me about those.
Well, I think one of them that was printed in the Laws of Life book, that was a national book, was Arliss Fethergill of a few years ago. And it was an angry essay, but an essay where he resolved a lot of that anger, or attempted to. And I think that stood out. I mean, his language was assertive. He didn't pull any punches. I think our winners of last year that are sitting here, too, were absolutely, wonderful essays, speaking from personal experience, that reaction to what life really is all about and what is important.
I spoke with several of Mr. Ware's students about their experiences in writing an essay for the Laws of Life. Andrea Freund, last year's second-place winner, tells us about her essay.
It just kind of talked about what it takes to be a good nurse's aide and how the small things make a difference in the elderly's life and along that line.
Okay. Did actually writing the essay help you out in any way?
Yeah, it did. It kind of, gave me a chance to step back and look and think, this is what a good nurse's aide takes. This is what I need to be doing also. And it also helped me with people I work with. So I can look at them too and really differentiate a good one and someone who cares a lot about the people.
Last year's top winner was Erin Arnold. Her essay helped her express an important passage in her life.
In the summers, I work at a camp called Courage North, and we have sessions for people with various disabilities. And by working with these people, it really helped me to change my perspective on life and kind of helped me get through an eating disorder. For me, this essay was huge. Before I wrote the essay, nobody knew about that part of my life, and kind of made a deal with God that if I won, then I'd let everybody know, because it was scary for me. But it really helped me to uncover a lot of these feelings and to step back from it and look at how something like an eating disorder is so ridiculous. It was kind of my 15 minutes of fame. It was really exciting, and it's getting published now in a book by Chicken Soup for the Soul, so that's kind of exciting too.
So tell us your feelings about the Laws of Life contest.
Oh, I just think it's a wonderful opportunity for kids to kind of get out there and to share their thoughts and ideas, because everybody has individual perspectives.
This is my first year of doing it.
Okay. Tell me what your topic was.
I wrote about my sister and her car accident in 1997, how she died and how that affected my life.
Okay, now that's a very powerful subject.
Yeah.
Tell me what it was like for you to write that essay.
Well, it was very emotional. I had to recall a lot of memories that I didn't really like. And I was really young then, so it was hard to remember. And I didn't go to my parents because I wanted to do it by myself. And then, so it was tough to write, but I got through it.
Okay. Do you think it helped you to write it all down and put it in essay form?
Yeah, it did, because before then I never really shared with any of my friends about the accident and about my sister. And writing about it really helped me show myself that it is easy to tell people about and that they will listen. It allows kids to get their emotions out on paper and their feelings, and it can really help you through a tough time, or just let people know what you want them to know.
3 of this year's Winona Senior High winners shared with us their topics and how writing the essay helped them.
My topic was that talking is really important to life. So if you're in a certain predicament, you should talk to people and figure out what the best choice is to do.
Okay. And now how did it help you, writing all your thoughts down on paper? How did that help you?
Well, it made me really think hard on really what my life was about, and it's basically my whole life centers around who I talk to, what we're talking about, and just everybody talks, so it's just common things, so just get your thoughts out there.
I chose to do mine on the war, and I just kind of decided to do that because I've seen people who have made a choice but they don't have all the facts. And it made me think of my uncle who is overseas, and he's the only one in my family that's currently in the military. I worked with my mom on it a little bit, so I got to hear more of her thoughts, and I kind of combined it with my own, and now I'm kind of more open to more people and express my ideas.
I couldn't decide on one main topic, so I decided to choose 3 separate little topics, 3 values that I live my life by. And I chose that you take the bad of life with the good, you need determination, and forgiveness.
Okay. Well, how did it help you to write it all down on paper?
I think it gave me a chance to express myself, and it gave me a chance to explore what I live my life by, and also to realize that all different kinds of people have different values of their life, and that's what's important to them.
Okay. So what do you think overall of the Laws of Life contest?
I think it's a good chance to get students to express themselves, because especially at the high school age, peer pressure and stuff doesn't always let us express ourselves. We're sometimes afraid to, and I think this gives us a good chance to show what we're feeling.
I thought it was a pretty good chance to just write about whatever you want to, because usually don't get that chance. It's always, oh, do this and do that. But I know a lot of people don't do contests and things like that, so when you're allowed to do whatever you want, it kind of opens people up a little bit more.
I think it's a good way to express stuff that you won't normally express with people you know and stuff, because then you're writing it down on paper.
Well, I think just the fact that you can on paper, put your voice, put your thoughts on paper, your heart. I think we have a lot of heartstrings that are tweaked and not broken, but certainly used. I think that the students are intrigued by competition. Some aren't, and that might take them away from the real excitement of it, but some find that that's a very positive aspect, especially with the fact that one person, if you turn a whole classroom set of essays in, one person is assured of a $50 savings bond, and that's intriguing for them.
Cotter High School had 160 entrants in the Laws of Life contest this year from the 9th and 11th grades. Cindy Scudero, one of Cotter's English teachers, tells us about some of the essays.
You read probably all those essays,
yes,
right?
I did.
Do any stand in your mind that were really exceptional?
Well, there were several of the students who wrote about people who were special to them, whether they were living or whether they had died. And some of the students wrote about values and a chance that they might have had to practice a value, like taking something back to a grocery store when they had been given too much change or they hadn't paid for something. So examples of honesty. In the past, sometimes students have written something maybe they didn't do something quite right and they wish they had changed their mind. But this year was mostly from the positive point of view.
Okay. Now tell me, when you describe the Laws of Life essay contest to your students, what exactly do you tell them? What's the importance of Laws of Life?
Well, I tell them it's an opportunity for them to think about personal experiences they've had, or people that they've known, or values that they would like to live in their life. We read some sample essays and some essays that students have written other years, and there are a couple books put out by the Templeton Foundation with essays about values. And I tell them it's a good opportunity for them to practice their writing skills for someone besides just me, so someone else will get to read their writing and give them some feedback. And it's a chance for them to examine what they think about life or what is important to them. The third thing I tell them is also a chance for them to make some ties to the community and to show the community members what they're thinking and what high school students feel is important.
We're in Cindy Scudero's English class here at Cotter today, and these students have decided to talk a little bit about their papers. Tell me what your name is and tell me what you decided to write about, okay? Let's start with you over here.
My name is Katie Epwick, and I wrote about my grandpa. 2 years ago, he died from cancer, and I just wrote about his struggle and how he had so much faith in God and how he wasn't scared of dying and stuff, and he just believed that it was right for him. I've never really talked about it or wrote it out before, so I know it's just kind of a burden on my chest for 2 years. And then I finally let it out and I felt better. I wrote about my uncle who died last year and just about how important family is to people's lives and stuff. I never really told anyone what I felt about it because it was sudden last year, and I don't know, I just got it off my mind, and it made me feel better. So
I'm Jessie Larson, and I wrote about perseverance.
Okay, wonderful topic. Tell me how you came about writing about that.
I don't know, people have lots of different ideas about perseverance, and I don't know, I thought the greatest act of perseverance was, I had a good family friend and she died of cancer. She, of course, was really afraid of it, but she stuck with it and she prayed to God about it, and she said she couldn't have done it without God, so I thought that was awesome.
I chose to write about truth. I think that's one of the most important virtue that you can possess, and it's something you can't hide from, no matter what you do. I wrote about how every day we encounter truth in some form or another, and everything we do is dependent on trust and other people being truthful to you. I remember one specific example is, imagine, going to the supermarket and having the price that was tagged on the goods wrong. It'd be completely different if there were no truth. You wouldn't know what to look at, what to accept and as correct and what wasn't.
Well, my paper was titled Quality First, the Right Way to Do Things, and I kind of modeled it after what my dad has taught me through his actions and what he does. And through writing it, I kind of realized how much I admire my dad and how much I really try to be like him, because whenever he does something, he always does it right the first time. Like, if it takes a long time, he always chooses that way rather than doing it quick and to get it over with.
What do you think about the contest itself?
Well, when we first said we were going to do it again this year, I wasn't too excited. I'm not really one to just write that kind of stuff by myself. I don't think I would have. But it really allowed me to, and I'm sure others, to put their ideas down on paper. If you're forced to do it sometimes, it really makes you think, and then you can get something out of it.
Well, I think it's a good way for kids to express what they think about virtues and what they think life really means, and it's good to start doing that kind of thinking early, because it prepares you for what you're going to have to do as you advance in your education and as you live life, really.
This year's winners were invited with their families to a banquet at St. Mary's University, where they were awarded prizes gathered and donated by the sponsoring organizations: the Merchants Bank, the Junto Club, the Golden K Kiwanis Club, the John Templeton Foundation, and St. Mary's University. 15 class awards were handed out, which consisted of $50 U.S. savings bonds. 3 $100 blue ribbons were given. 2 silver awards, one to a Cotter student and one to a Winona Senior High student, were presented, which included $200 in cash and a 4-year, $1,000 St. Mary's University scholarship. 1 gold award, which included $400 in cash and a 4-year, $2,000 St. Mary's University scholarship. And the top prize, or Platinum Award, was given for $1,000 in cash and a 4-year, $3,000 St. Mary's University scholarship.
Hemingway said that the hardest thing he can do is write, which is why he did it. I think it is very hard to capture what you feel and what you think and put it down in writing and then be willing to share it. So I salute the kids that have won these awards tonight, because there are risks involved.
The young lady, Mindy Biber from Winona Senior High School, who won that Platinum Award, took that risk. She laid open her heart and shared with us a story that she has lived her whole life, and from the pain of it has become a person of strength.
I've personally seen what alcohol can do to a person's body. I watched it decay my mom's body last year when I admitted her to the hospital because she was dying of alcoholism. I was lucky enough to save her life, but man, did I learn a strong lesson from watching that. I've also personally experienced how alcohol can affect a person's mind. When I was 6 years old, my dad took my sister and me to the Goodview Days Parade, and he was drinking. Later, he took us to go swimming, and he tried to drown me in the lake by his house. This was a very personal experience that not many people know about, but it has affected me a lot when I was a child. Unlike most children in the world who look up to their parents, I never had that, and I never will. After physically experiencing my mom dying and my dad trying to drown me, I've grown emotionally stronger. I think that I could get past any hard spots in my life without a flinch. Through all the hard times, I've realized one positive thing: I don't want to be like them. I want to change my life around so that my children don't ever have to go through the things I've gone through. I've set goals for myself, and when I accomplish them, I already feel like I'm a step ahead of my parents. I have a few close friends who know what I've gone through, but not a lot of people know the whole story. Maybe if they only knew what I have gone through, then they would understand why I don't go out of my way to talk to them. Or maybe they will understand why I do some of the things I do. The close friends I do have understand me and are always there to support me. They even listen to me when I'm rambling about nothing important. I feel that as socially learned, I don't need to go out of my way to try to be better than someone or have something they have. My grandparents have also been there for me. They went out of their way to take me in and care for me like my parents would have done. They showed me that when life is looking down, there's always someone out there to help you. I have learned many lessons in my life from my friends and family, but I have learned one the hard way. Alcohol ruins lives and families if you abuse it. I learned I don't want alcohol to be a part of my life. I don't want my kids to go through the things I went through. I want the so-called perfect life, even though I had to learn by watching my parents destroy their lives with mine right along beside. I learned something so that when that one person that means the most to you walks out the door, I can bet there's a valuable lesson following right behind.
I applaud Mindy for sharing her story with the community, as well as all the students who have participated in the Laws of Life essay contest. This has been Joyce Woodworth. Please join me again next week. Till then, enjoy the Spirit of Winona.